I know the AFL's committed to be creating a more free-flowing, higher-scoring game, which, from a supporter point of view, I think we all know is the future of creating this fantastic product. But the coaches, while they understand those plans, they will be out there to win each week, and they'll do what they have to with their teams.
So other way in this third term, good tackle there from Angus Brayshaw, got the free kick, long ball to full forward, and in the end it's socket off the ground by Tim Smith just before the line. He's kicked the goal in the first 20 seconds for the Demons, so he was good in the second term, took 2 or 3 strong marks, and the Demons go up to 6-4-40. Collingwood 3-5-23, so good work in the middle there again from Max Gawn. From a footy point of view, if you did play Gawn and Bruce regularly together, it sort of goes against the grain of what most clubs are doing with 2 big ruckmen like that. But obviously there's a belief at Melbourne that can certainly work.
Well, I think it depends on the type of ruckman. If you've got mobile big guys, then they can play a combination of roles. But, I mean, we've seen with Gawney, the way he plays, he's sort of like a ruck, but at times he's like the old-fashioned ruck rover, where he can scoop it up himself, he can run, he can throw himself in the forward line, take marks and kick goals. And we've got to keep in mind it's a long season, so I think if we think that Gawney's going to be playing against the biggest ruckman in the competition all season and not going to get tired, so this is why the whole season needs to play out, and you need to be in your best form and fitness levels once you come into the final. So I think every team's sort of planning that out as well. So all I'm seeing is 2 players, especially today, that are really talented and got a lot to offer.
Yeah, Bruce has been good so far. Kicked a couple of goals. The ball's going in his direction again, this time from Spargo. It's going to fall short. Couldn't quite gather it in, the big man. Comes to Langdon, off to Darcy Moore, who kicks out wide. Looking there for Cox, just over his head. Nice little tap down there. Got to Josh Thomas. His handball just misses Main. Chance here for Hunt. The Pies work it out with some numbers. Off to Greenwood at half-back. Just chips a little one short towards Cox. Edges Oscar McDonald under the footy. Nice spin out of trouble there from Hibberd. Off to McDonald. Kick to full forward, but more out in front. Takes a good mark there in front of Sam Wiedemann. So a couple of really good young players going head-to-head there. Comes out to Dacos, a name that Gary knows very well, having played with his famous father. Off to Reid, who wheels onto that left boot up there towards big Maxie Gawn, who did really well and took a good strong mark. Just behind the wing for the Demons. Going to chip it in the middle. Plenty of options there. One's Brayshaw, and he can swing it onto this near side. Off to McDonald. He's got plenty of room. So Oscar McDonald, long ball to full forward, up there towards Smith, who we know can jump. Couldn't quite take it that time. Comes to Neil Bullen. He's been pretty good. Petrarca, little handball out the back. Smith again, wrapped up in a strong tackle. And he's given away a throw. And we'll have the Melbourne Football Operations Manager, Josh Marnie, with us very shortly. But we'll sign off with Gary Pert. Gary, thank you so much for your time. Welcome to the Demons, and good luck for a big 2019 ahead.
Great. Thanks, guys.
So Josh Marnie will join us very shortly as Kennedy Harris whacks the ball inside 50. We're going to get another free kick here for Melbourne. This time to Sam Wiedemann. He'll line up from about 25 metres out on about a 45-degree angle. As Josh Marnie joins us. Josh, welcome.
G'day, Jules. Thank you.
From a footy point of view, what have you liked so far?
I've liked a fair bit of it today. Good contest. Obviously, Collingwood are tracking along really well. They've got a fit list, so they've got a good squad out there, as we have. We've both got players out, but there's been some really good signs, and this time of year is all about trying a few different things, and I think we've seen that happen. We've got a few things we're trying, and then most of them are coming off. So
Wiedemann just misses this one off to the right, so the D's up to 6-5-41. They lead by an even 3 goals. Collingwood 3-5-23. I think we're all interested in how the Bruce-Gawn combination can work. How do you see it unfolding in terms of playing together some weeks, not playing together other weeks? How often can they play together?
We don't know the answer to that. That's the exciting part, and that's what pre-season is about, is trialling a few of those opportunities. And at the moment, you're seeing Gawney play majority forward and Gawney in the ruck and Prusy forward. Yeah, the combination is something we'll fiddle with throughout the pre-season, but what Braden brings us is an opportunity to do that. We haven't had that opportunity before, and we don't think the right thing to do for Sam Wiedemann's development is for him to play in the ruck or for Tom McDonald. They're dangerous forwards. We'd rather keep them there.
So throw in inside the forward pocket for the Demons. Jaden Hunt, who's had a really good game since quarter time, pumped it inside 50 again. Here's Darcy Moore. He's wrapped up by Smith, and we'll have another bounce 30 metres out from the Demons' goal.
Josh, how have you seen Braden's forward craft today? That's probably been the area of his game which he needs to improve. How have you seen that?
Yeah, it has been, and he's such a big guy, but I think the impressive part today is we've seen him on the lead a couple of times as well, and really the kicks inside 50, I think Harm's probably on both times been very good, but really for him it's about creating a good contest for us, and then it's putting the guys to work like Spargo and Jeffy Garlett down there and Joel Smith.
As the big fella just gives away a 50-metre penalty there, Braden Bruce, on Tom Langdon, just a little bit late to the contest.
He will do that a few times too, because he's a big guy.
He's aggressive too, which is you want when someone's that big. So the Magpies switch the ball onto this near side to Greenwood. He's got a bit of space in front of Harms, takes a couple of bounces. He's got Elliott on a very, very long lead. The kick's not going to quite get there. It's through the hands of Main. The back of the pack to Hibbert. Little 1-2.
Sparrow.
Hibbert, that's young Sparrow, who's come on in the second half, wearing the 32 for the Demons. Nice play there from Brown, but eventually comes out to Petrarca. Good vision, that's his strength. Lowered the eyes beautifully, got it to Neil Bullen. Now 1-on-1 inside 50. Now this is a mismatch. Bruce and Langdon, and Bruce was too strong. Oh, didn't pay it in the end. Looked like a mark. Demon supporters behind us don't like it. So Moore for the Magpies. They work it out, 1-2. Darcy Moore almost run down, gets away. And he kicks disappointingly in the end, out of bounds on the full. A bit stiff there, Braden Bruce.
Well done there to Brucey for his second effort, Jules, you must say. He then got involved in the defensive stuff, tried to lay a desperate tackle. If you're a big bloke in the forward 50 these days, you can't simply try and just take the mark of the ball. You've got to be involved in the defensive end, and he was then, and Simon could be thrilled with that.
So Vandenberg spots up Gorm this time. Just outside 50, goes looking for his big teammate. The kick a little bit off the side of the boot, and we'll have a throw in.
Josh, more broadly on the game plan, we see Melbourne play a very strong, tough, consistent brand of hard football. I think only lost a contested possession count twice last season. Do we expect to see the same again, largely in terms of your game style?
Yeah, that's the type of play we want to be known for, and we want Melbourne Footy Club to be known for that style of play. And we've been able to show it in a quick period of time to be able to get it to a stage where people identify Melbourne Footy Club with that type of footy, which is great. You have to add elements to it, and we will be adding elements to it all the time. And we'll see a bit today. There's a bit more kick and mark, especially early today. So you need to have a couple of ways of moving the ball, but it's still got to be based on contested ball, and then what comes off the back of that.
So ball on the outer wing, plenty of numbers around it. Vandenberg emerges off to Gawn. Campbell over looking for Petrarca. Coming through was Harms. It's a young Quainer onto the ground too for Collingwood, who's been very, very impressive in the pre-season. The end free kick to Braden Maynard for the Pies.
Like what I've seen from Christian Petrarca today, Jules. He's got a big year ahead. He's been very busy throughout the midfield, and I think we've seen that really damaging ball use come to the fore already.
It's probably an advantage of a practice match. We've got a fair few of our midfielders out. You get an opportunity to play. Christian's played majority midfield today. So that's what a practice match is about, giving guys opportunities in spots that they may not get through the year.
We haven't seen the best of Christian Petrarca yet, have we, Josh?
Yeah, well, he's really developed, and he's such a unique player that he's got these strengths that you want to play him forward, but you want to get him in around the ball as well. And when a player like that, you're going to get some inconsistencies, but we've been really happy with the way he's developed. And he's a dangerous forward, he's a dangerous midfielder, and he's only still young.
We saw in that final against Hawthorn last year, he probably only had 10 touches, but the influence he can have with not many touches, not many players in the comp can do that.
No, especially around stoppages we've already seen today. His clearance work, he's just got so much power, he just brings other people into the game.
So out in front of young Quainer, but picked up by Main for the Pies, coming off a really good year. Just spears it into centre half back and finds Levi Greenwood. He spots up Taylor Adams.
What's the timetable for Stephen May's return, Josh? When do you see him coming back?
So he'll be doing quite a good session this afternoon with all the other guys that aren't playing today. We'll be probably tempted to play next week, JLT 1, but most likely JLT 2, so he's like a couple of weeks away. That's right.
Yeah, so nice play there from Quaynor. Found Trelaw, who's kicked inside 50. Didn't quite hit the target. And we'll have a throw in inside the 50 for the Pies. Just mentioning before, Josh, looks like you've got a lot more depth in terms of key defence now with May coming in and Frost and McDonald developing, Lever coming back. You feel you're a lot stronger in that area, which some perceived as a weakness not that long ago.
It was a focus for us probably the last 2 years to bring in players, key position players who can really play on the big, tall forwards. It's probably still been the Achilles heel for us that in games we've lost in big games, that big, tall forwards have still got us. So it's been a focus for us, and the reason why Jake Lever did come to the club and Stephen May. We've really liked the development of Sam Frost in probably the back half of last year, and also Oscar McDonald. He's still a young player, and we think the support they're going to have around him is going to make them better players.
What's the timeline for Lever? How's he coming along?
Well, he's in the States at the moment, doing some really tough rehab work with Bill Knowles, and he did his knee. It was about round 10 last year, so expectations around that sort of mark, around 8 to 11. It depends on how he's tracking. But we've got no need to rush him.
So Greenwood for the Pies, up to half forward. Nice mark taken by Main. Plays on immediately, kicked to full forward. Cox looks dangerous. Comes to ground, Harms in there over the top of Reed, picked up by Oscar McDonald. Out wide towards Kennedy Harris, and he just escorts it out of bounds.
I think there is tremendous upside with the Melbourne back six, Jules and Josh. I mean, when you look at Jake Lever, who's an A-grader of the game, Stephen May is one of the best fullbacks in the business. When that clicks, when you get that synergy right, and they've had some chemistry and experience of time playing together, I think it can be one of the best full-back lines in the competition. When you look at the talent on paper, it's really just about now when you can get that cohesion and playing minutes out there together. Because come September, if everyone's out there, it's a really formidable mix, I think.
Yeah, it's one of the strengths of the premiership teams. They come off of having a really strong back six, and you've seen that.
Four defensive team to win the flag, don't you?
Yep.
So in goes Vandenberg, Arms over the top again. Main, good strong tackle, and we'll have another bounce. In the forward line today, you've had the resting ruckman. You got Wiedemann, Smith, the Smiths. Would you like to play 3 tall forwards? How do you think the mix works best?
Yeah, well, we haven't got Tom McDonald playing today, so yeah, we think the mix is still 3 talls. But what that third tall is still up for grabs. If it is the Braden Pruce type big tall, or if it is a smaller type with Tim Smith and Joel Smith, what they both bring is they both bring really good aerial contest. So if they're able to do that and bring ground level pressure, as Jay mentioned earlier, it's really important in the forward line. So the combination is still up for grabs. But again, we've got good depth and good options.
Good contest there from Wiedemann. Ball goes forward for Smith. That was Tim Smith looking for Joel Smith, but ball's back there first for the Magpies. Gets it off to Murphy. Kick out wide looking for Main. Very, very wide. He'd just get there before the boundary, but has scored it over by Kennedy Harris, who's done some good things for the Demons today. I guess it's a big year for Jay, who's been on the fringes for a while. Yeah,
probably Jay, Kennedy Harris, Billy Stretch. They both get their opportunities today to play on a wing. And again, practice matches is their opportunity to shine and work their way into our best 22.
So Gawn beaten that time by Big Mason Cox. Sire went in for the Pies. Eventually grabbed by Brayshaw, just hooks it back around the body, inside 50. Got a height advantage here, Wiedemann against young Murphy. Grabs it beautifully at ground level, off to Tim Smith, off to Wagner, who's beautifully run down. That's a great tackle from Quainer. And Jay, you know the Pies really well. The wraps on this kid are huge and, potentially around one berth.
They've been very impressive. I'll be surprised if we don't see him at some point early in this season. Jack Crisp has had an interrupted pre-season, so there's a bit of a spot there on the half-back flank, and the Pies absolutely love his attack, his ball use, and his ability to be aggressive back there, as we've seen around the footy again. So I think we'll see him pretty early on that season, George.
So we saw Marty Hoare there again for the Demons, bringing the ball forward. Tim Smith cleaned up, but back on his feet. Good pressure in the forward pocket, grabbed by Garlett, spears one towards Petrarca. Beautiful hands over the top. This should be a goal to Jaden Hunt, and it is. Or James Harms in the end. So nice play there from the Demons. Good clean hands again from Petrarca. And slammed through by James Harms for his first of the day. 7-6-48 the Demons. Magpies 3-5-23. Played 14 minutes in this third term.
Josh, we were commenting earlier about James Harms and his development last season. He was fantastic, particularly for the second half of the year. Big jobs in September. Will his role change much this year? Do you still see him playing the run with the tagging sort of a role? Is there still, space and scope for that sort of a player in the Melbourne team moving forward this year?
Yeah, we think there's going to be games where you are still going to have to play that role, but I think what James does really well when he does it. He doesn't just lock down in a play. He still creates, and we just saw him kick a goal, and that's what he does really well as well. He can go forward, and he's a dangerous option down there. So I think we've got Jack Viney, who's can play that role as well. But between the two of those guys, I think it's an important role to be accountable through the midfield.
You can't just lock down these days, can you, as a tagger?
No, you don't see it very often. I mean, the coach might go up there and he puts the magnets close together, but in the end, he's still expecting to get 20 and kick a goal.
So Magpies go forward out of the middle, looking for Elliott. Oscar McDonald's there, coming through as Greenwood for the Pies.
Arguably the most improved player in the competition last year, James Harms, or certainly one of Jules, I reckon.
Yeah, absolutely.
Top 5 in the best and fairest from memory, he was thereabouts.
Yeah, he was in the top 5, and that's the advantage of being able to bring players through when you've got a really strong midfield. And Harmsy come in, he doesn't have to be the #1 midfielder. He can just slowly develop. He's really the strength of our list at the moment.
And from what I've seen on his Instagram account, Jules, rocking one of the best six-packs in the other.
Oh, I don't know about some of the budgie smugglers, though. He has sometimes, Jay. I wouldn't be wearing those, put it that way. Yeah, well, I don't. So, chopped off beautifully here by Tom Phillips, who's been pretty good for the Pies. Plenty of the footy, particularly early in this game. So he's going to put it inside 50 again. Beams is in the pack, runs under the footy, and sport nicely by Big Bruce, who's doing the ruck work at the moment.
I'm going to throw forward a bit, Josh. Melbourne's been pretty busy and proactive in the exchange periods the past couple of years. You brought in some excellent players. And big moves again, particularly a couple of months ago. Are you thinking forward to this year's trade and draft already and how you might be placed?
Yeah.
Attitude might be.
Yeah, we are, and probably just not even this year. It's the next few years as you're probably forced into now with free agency and looking at who's available at different stages. And whilst we're very happy with where our list is at the moment, we know you just got to keep getting better every year. And we think we've got a strong list right now, and our focus probably for the next period of time is making sure that talent stays with us for a long period of time. But it's also, we've got the opportunity to bring in players. We've managed our salary cap to create that opportunity. And even though we've brought in some players in the last few years, we've still got opportunity to bring in the right type of player. I think where we can go now is be a lot more, as you would have seen, is a lot more selective with the type of players we need. Go and get a particular position and really target someone.
So free kick here to Mason Cox, and that's a good finish. He's a good kick for goal. We saw that in the finals last year, and he's put through the Magpies 4th, 4-5-29. The Demons 7-6-48, so 19-point lead to the D's as we tick up towards 17 minutes in this third term. Just listening to you talk there, in your role, do you ever get to enjoy the now? Or is it always just, what's next?
There was probably one moment last year, and then we speak about what was the proudest moment of last year, and it was just after a final. It was either Geelong or Hawthorn, just sitting up there and seeing the crowd and the noise. I think it was probably before the game, because as the game goes on, you probably don't get a chance. But just seeing from where we've come from to where we are was probably one of those ones where you just pause and pretty proud of what's happened. But it moves it pretty quickly.
Three best games of September for me, Jules, were obviously the grand final and Collingwood's shock upset win over Richmond, and then Melbourne's win over Geelong.
It was fantastic, yeah.
The atmosphere, I think, first finals win, I think, in about 12 years. And some of the big performances from some of these emerging and maturing Melbourne players. Big stage when the microscope was on, the spotlight was on the
That's an interesting one there. We know the umpires are going to crack down on any form of punch or something similar, and we saw there Treloar copped a little one, which didn't look like much in it, but he was given the free kick by the umpire behind the play. Little rib tickler. It's a nice mark there from Darcy Moore, who's shown some very good signs, particularly after quarter time. So he goes very wide. He hasn't shown some great signs with his kicking in this term. It's the second one he's put out on the full under no real pressure. As we see Jordan Lewis. A lot of debate about Jordan Lewis's position in this team. Is he still in Melbourne's best 22? But he's been pretty good today.
Yeah, he has been. He's done everything you want a veteran to do in his pre-season. He's trained every training session, given himself every chance. And what you see is what he does with the ball, but it's also what he does off the ball. It's really important. He's really important in general for us down back.
Traditionally 300-game veterans at this time of the year, just looking to sort of manage things and maybe just keep it third gear, Jules. But I think Jordan Lewis has been in 4th today. I think he's been quite urgent in some contests, and I think he's really made a statement that he wants to be a big part of this team this year. So I've been quite impressed with Jordan.
Yeah, and as we mentioned, out of the leadership group, replaced by Neville Jetta. So Demons are going to go forward again through Hoare, who's done some nice things. That one's off the side of the boot, though, and chopped off nicely by Aish at half-back for the Magpies.
Josh, can you just take the temperature in this game so far for us today. Would Simon Goodwin be generally enough happy with what he's seen today?
Yeah, I think there would have been enough in the first half. Probably the first 10 minutes was a bit scrappy, as you could probably would expect the first practice match, but probably the next really quarter and a half would have been really happy with that. Our contest work was a lot better, our handball was a lot better, and we started to get our running game going.
Here's Petrarca. Oh, a clever little kick off the instep, looking for Bruce at his bootlaces. Not ideal for the big man. Petrarca gets it back to Neil Bullen. Snap. Going to go across the face and actually out of bounds on the full. Hits the behind post. And the free kick will be taken by Darcy Moore.
And there's no messing around with the expectations for the Melbourne side this year, is there, Josh? I mean, you guys want to be a top 4 team. Clearly, after making the preliminary final last year, you're quite open about wanting to achieve high in 2019.
Oh, it's probably like a number of teams. We want to be playing finals footy again, but there's probably 12 to 13 to be saying exactly the same thing. And if you look at every list across the comp, they've all got better. And so it's going to be a really good competition this year. We think we're well placed. You'd like to have a few more guys playing today, but we're going to be well placed. And we know we've got a hard as draw as you get with a top 4 team, but so have Collingwood, so have Richmond, so have the Eagles. So we'll give ourselves every chance.
Nathan Jones said it had been a bit of a different pre-season with so many good players coming off surgery. Some of those are only just starting to ramp up their training now. Is there any concerns about the first 4 to 6 weeks given the schedule of some of those players?
Oh, not really. I think we've known there's a few different things. We started a month later with the finals. We had an extra week of break over Christmas, so a few less sessions. We would have liked a lot of those players to have done some more training pre-Christmas, but they're in full training now and they're not too far away.
Nice goal there off the ground from Corey Wagner, sorry. The former Kangaroo. He's given a chance at the Demons this year, so he's put through his first, and the D's out to a 25-point lead, 8-6-54. Collingwood 4-5-29. We've heard Simon say quite often last year he wants the expectation on the group. He wants them to learn to deal with that, so I'm assuming he's not shying away from that again this year.
No, we're not, and I think that was our approach during the finals as well, as we wanted to enjoy the expectation, bring our fans along with us as well, because it's an exciting ride. So let's bring everyone in and engage them, and that's what we did really well. And I think the players are excited by that, much better than the other alternative.
We're seeing that today with the innovation of the live stream, putting that out to the fans. I like the innovation of this. Jules engaging the Melbourne fan base, no matter where they are, around the country or around the world. I think it's putting it out there for Melbourne fans to see and inviting them to come on board for the year. I think that's a great.
So free kick to Chalor here for the Pies at half forward. He's going to chip short and find Adams. So Adams about a kick and a half from goal. He's got Big Cox on the lead. He's ignored that, so Frost playing on Cox. It's going to be top of the square. Max Gawn in the pack, shove right in the middle of the back, and Ray Chamberlain was right onto it. Reid just not subtle enough in that marking contest, and free kick to Gawn on the last line for the D's.
A lot of opposition clubs taking notice of today, fellas.
I've seen a few around.
Yeah, I've seen about 6 staff members from rival clubs, so the interest is high in what we're seeing out there today. And the intensity and tempo, I've been pretty impressed with it. It's been no shying away from the contest, Josh.
No, there hasn't been. I think what clubs are looking at is how other clubs are approaching some of these new rules, and if they take something out of one game, they can go and trial different things. I think we've seen not much innovation probably in kick-ins today. I think teams are keeping a few things close to their chest for the first couple of weeks.
So free kick here for Salem. They got across, made a contest, and then got one in the back. So he's at centre-half back for the Demons. So Gawn calling for it out wide. He's got Jordan Ruffhead playing on him at the moment. He's going to go to the near side. Not a great kick over the head of Frost, but good enough there for Jordan Lewis to gather. Kick down the line, looking for Billy Stretch. He'll gather, go onto the left foot. Kick to half forward, coming out is Big Bruce. Oh, he makes a contest, makes you earn it. I'm sure Simon Good wouldn't mind that. The umpire called play on. Young Murphy was the one on the end of it. Kick inside 50. Spargo gathers, little handball, but it's chopped off nicely there by Maynard. Nice little kick around the body and finds Josh Dacos about 25 metres out from his own goal.
It's the beauty of Braden Bruce right there. We saw the aggressive physical approach at the contest there. You would not want to be standing in the hole, Julian, it's fair to say. I could not run out of there quick enough.
I wouldn't go in there in the first place. So nice play out here. Finds Elliott, who's been a real positive for the Pies. Kicked a couple of goals. moving around really well. Didn't play a senior game last year, Jamie Elliott. Kick up there towards Wills. Handball over the top, misses Thomas, and we'll have a throw in just forward to centre for the Magpies. They trail the Demons by 25 points. Melbourne 8, 6.54, Collingwood 4, 5.29. Just over 24 minutes gone in the third term.
A lot of interesting debate over the border in South Australia about Port Adelaide's co-captaincy setup. I think Warren Treadway said he doesn't like it. Mark Williams has said he doesn't like it. It's been something that's worked for you guys, Josh. You've gone with it again in Nathan Jones and Jack Viney. Yeah, we have, and we think it. When we reviewed it at the end of the year, we thought it worked really well. Both Nathan and Jack have got different strengths, and they complement each other really well. And the leadership group, adding Max Gorn into it and Neville Jetta, it's a really good group of 4.
Good strong tackle there from Angus Brayshaw, coming off that amazing year last year at an amazing Brownlow night. Up goes Big Bruce. Good contest again.
He did think that I should have included him in that inviting list for the Brownlow.
Well, it could have been very embarrassing, Josh, if he won and he wasn't there. To make the late dash to Crown Casino. Siren goes for 3/4 time. Melbourne go in with a 25-point lead.